I pretty much got my start more on the transportation side of things.
So grateful that you joined, and glad we're going to continue doing this thing.
Doubt.
We're going to do it the right way, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And for me specifically, when I got introduced to SAP, it was the summer after my... Hello, everyone. My name is Alfred Wooten.
And I'm Xavier Bennett.
Welcome to Sustain Train, powered by Altech Consulting, a podcast where we dive into the world of SAP training, organizational change, and the art of sustainment. We're your hosts, the team behind Altech Consulting. We're more than just training consultants. We're your partners in your journey toward meaningful, lasting change. At Altech Consulting, we built our reputation by specializing in SAP S/4HANA end-user training and change management facilitation. But what truly sets us apart is our passion for empowering people, because we believe real change happens when individuals are equipped, inspired, and ready to move forward. Through this podcast, we'll share tips, best practices, and real-world lessons that you can use to drive your own change initiatives. In today's episode, we're sharing our personal career journeys from the very beginning to where we are now. We'll be taking you through the twists and turns, the lessons learned, and the moments that shaped our past. Let's get moving on Sustain Train, where change is more than a buzzword, it's a journey. Man, Xavier, since we're taking it back to the beginning, tell the people how you were introduced to SAP, and also just share more about your career journey altogether.
Most definitely. Well, we all know it's been a journey, just to say the least. But I pretty much got my start more on the transportation side of things, using DOS-based systems like AS400. So when I'm speaking on transportation, I'm talking about large carriers like Swift or Night Transportation, Stephen Transport, things like that. Well, I always had the goal and the vision of wanting to be a supply chain executive. And with Dallas-Fort Worth becoming more of a substantial hub for supply chain, I knew it was time to try to jump and get my feet wet on the supply chain side of things. So I shifted my focus from more logistic-based roles to a more supply chain focus. And I ended up landing an opportunity at a telecom company, which is actually where I met Alfred here. But I'll get back to that story a little later on. But when I did join this telecom company, it was more, that's when I got my SAP start, but it was more like sit with your peers and learn how the processes work. There was no real formal training as far as SAP is concerned, but just sit with them and kind of see how our business processes coincide with SAP processes. Me being me, I knew that wasn't going to suffice for me. I never wanted to be in a situation where my success was dependent upon information that someone shared with me or didn't share with me. You know what I mean? So I immediately started studying any and everything SAP related. And I was able to start applying those same principles that I learned, from the books through SAP Press. I was able to apply those lessons directly to my position from sales and distribution standpoint, since that's more the position I was focused on at the time. And just throughout that time frame, and just becoming more and more well-versed, improving some processes and developing some processes, I shortly became the go-to person when there was a new hire or someone else on the team that needed more insight on SAP processes and how things work. I was always the person to come to. And that's really how I bumped it to Alfred. Me and Alfred were almost like the same person. We were just on different teams. He was that go-to person, and we kind of clicked there and developed a much stronger relationship outside of work, a friendship that, has lasted up until this point, of course, and going to continue lasting. But I just kept progressing throughout my career. And when I decided to make a more vertical move outside of that same organization, I think Alfred may have already left and started pursuing other opportunities as well. Well, my reputation kind of preceded me as being more of a SAP super user. So by being able to navigate through the system at a high level, it kind of opened some doors for me that typically would have been closed. So it allowed me to transition to a more vertical position. And from there, my supply chain career just continued on, just progressing throughout the career. And I remember Alfred reached out to me This was maybe years after I think he had transitioned to the consulting space. And he reached out to me about becoming an SAP consultant. And I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen for me, man. I'm stable in my career. I got a family to support. I have longevity, got 401k, I got health insurance, things like that. And a lot of times when you become a consultant, those things are on you to provide. So I kind of turned them down nicely, of course, how friends do. And it's funny how things change, right? He reached out again, sometime later, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year. And he was still talking SAP consulting. After we catch up, how's the family doing? How's the wife and kids? Things like that. He brought it up again. And at this point, there was like a huge gap in my career. That feeling like something's missing. But what was missing is I just wasn't fulfilled in what I was doing. So when he brought it up again, and I asked him a million questions surrounding this, I probably got on his nerves. I'm sure I did, but I had to be certain. But God works in mysterious ways. So I took him up on that offer, man. I stepped out on faith and jumped into this lane of SAP consulting. And from my mouth to your ears, if it's not the best, it's one of the best decisions I've made in my career.
Digital transformation isn't just a process, it's a journey. And every journey needs a roadmap. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Pathways by Altech Consulting, your strategic guide to achieving sustainment with SAP S/4HANA. At Altech Consulting, we know that transformation begins with people. That's why Pathways starts with change management. We identify training requirements, engage key stakeholders, and eliminate roadblocks to prepare your organization for success. Next, we design a tailored training program development plan. From custom curriculums to hands-on exercises, we ensure your team has everything they need to excel. Our training facilitation uses the hear, see, do methodology to keep your workforce engaged and ready to embrace change. Once your system is live, hypercare support takes over. Our experts are on site, guiding your team through troubleshooting and building confidence in daily tasks. And finally, sustainment. We help you develop an action plan to ensure knowledge retention, efficient onboarding, and long-term success with SAP. Pathways is more than a product. It's a proven approach to ensure your digital transformation delivers results. Don't just adapt, thrive. So, ready to chart your path to sustainment? Contact Altech Consulting today. Man, that's an inspiring story, man. I really appreciate you for joining me as we continue to grow this company. You've been a great asset. I'm just so grateful that you joined and glad we're going to continue doing this thing. We're going to do it the right way, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And for me specifically, when I got introduced to SAP, it was the summer after my junior year in college. I had landed an internship with the company in the telecom industry as well. And my role was a materials manager. I was in control of handling inventory that customers were returning back to the warehouse. So I go that first week on the job, and my manager at the time, she gave me a pamphlet. It was a work instruction to help me complete the task in their system, SAP. And that's when I learned how to move inventory around, learned how to create orders. And at that point, I was now officially an end user in SAP. Some years go by, and I become very fond of SAP. I'm learning more and more to the point where they eventually give me a relocation package to move from Raleigh, North Carolina to Plano, Texas. They wanted some of their key players to be closer to the North America headquarters. So man, I jumped on that opportunity. I was like, I had nothing holding me back. I was eager to start something new. I was young and excited about this change. When I moved to Texas, I did the same thing I did in North Carolina. I continued, learning, meeting new people, becoming the go-to person, the subject matter expert for SAP resources in that office. So I was learning sales and distribution, EWM, what else? Materials management, and it goes on and on. So just building a network and a reputation at that office took me to another level to where I got noticed for a job rec that came onto the market at that job. And so What it was a help desk type position where I would support the different SAP global tools, such as all the SAP modules and other supply chain tools that that company used. And so I would get to learn more about EWM, more about transportation management, RMS, and other tools as well, where I got a chance to go to Sweden and get some more training with the people that were on my team. I was one of the 2 people in North America on this team. Everybody else on our team were in Sweden. So that was a huge opportunity as well. Just go there, travel for the first time to Europe, and get some more SAP learning. Come back years later, we started to roll out EWM in North America. They already had it in Sweden, but now it's time to go ahead and roll that out in the US. And that's when I was like, you know what? It's time to dial in, because I want to be an expert in one area instead of knowing a little bit about everything. Let's focus on one thing and be the best at it. So I joined our warehouse management team, and that brought about so many opportunities. As we rolled out EWM in the US, I got a chance to, of course, learn even more about EWM from the consultants that implemented the system for our company, and also got to participate in user acceptance testing, where I got to now get my feet wet, my hands wet in the system, and sign off, making sure that the configuration and the automation, just all the processes all together made sense for what we wanted, right, for our operations. And later on, this led to me traveling to our different regional sites across the US, from the East Coast to the West Coast, teaching people SAP at these locations, whether it's new functionality rollouts, I'm helping onboard these folks into these new processes, onboarding new hires, just being a resource altogether across the landscape for SAP at our company. And then one day, I'm like, man, I want to learn more about these SAP consultants and what they do. I'm like, how can I become where they're at? Right now, I'm just a subject matter expert, right, an end user. But now I want to matriculate over to the big boys. I want to be a consultant. So I started asking those consultants in our office a lot of questions, becoming very, intrigued and wanting to just know, how can I make that next step? And then that just led me to one day, out of nowhere, just trying to access the back system in our quality environment. I had access to SPRO, didn't even know it, which is the customizing, for configuration in the back end of SAP. And so I immediately went to Amazon.com, ordered that SAP EWM book, 700-page book that, was a lot to learn. As soon as it arrived to my apartment, I began reading this book. I wasn't able to understand everything. A lot of things did go over my head, but I grabbed onto some nuggets, that helped build my confidence, took my knowledge to the next level, to where I was confident enough to now take on interviews. So now I'm going to interviews at large firms to smaller firms. Of course, at this point, it's tough. I'm getting turned down, but it's just, a learning opportunity. It's not a negative. It's a positive, the way I looked at it. So I just got better and better at interviewing for my dream career. And then one day, I reached out on LinkedIn to a guy that worked at a firm. I saw his profile, and his name is Wes. He's always been in my corner from the jump. And he talked to me, right? I had reached out to multiple people on LinkedIn that were consultants trying to get more information. But he talked to me, pretty much encouraged me that, hey, I'm on the right track. You can do it. And by the end of our conversation, he was like, man, just send me your resume. And I was like, all right, man, here you go. And then little is known, man, a couple of days later, his recruiter at his company called me. And from there, I eventually got the interview, and the rest was history. I became a junior EWM consultant and never looked back, right? So I would encourage everybody out there, if you're trying to become a consultant, keep pushing. There's people out here that really want to help you. This is what Xavier and I do all the time. We help people. We put people on the projects, give them opportunities, whether they're seasoned or junior. If they put it in the work and they show that they do have that work ethic and willing to learn, we can provide you an opportunity. And so that's what it's all about. You know, we love people and providing.
Man, if that doesn't inspire someone, I really don't know what will, bro, to be honest with you. I mean, by you tapping into your passion, you allowed me to understand what my passion was. I never knew SAP was my passion. Now, I'm not saying EWM is my passion. We know that that's your baby. But as far as sales and distribution, that's my passion. Reaching people, making an impact, helping them prolong or further their career through SAP. I'm passionate about that. It's more people focused. But again, had you not pursued your passion, I wouldn't have known to pursue mine. And you know, we've been in so many rooms, whether apart or together. We've been at networking events. We've been in front of clients for client interviews, client meetings, whatever the case may be. And we tend to get those, you know, questionable looks. It comes with the territory, right? You're gonna get those questionable looks like, you know, what gives you the audacity to think that you can step into this space and make a lasting impact as an SAP consulting firm? And honestly, I just want to know, how do you feel about those looks, man?
Man, where do I start?
Digital transformation isn't just a buzzword. It's your opportunity to lead the future, and the future is now. By 2027, SAP ECC support will end, making the shift to SAP S/4HANA more than a choice. It's a necessity. But transitioning to S/4HANA isn't just about new technology. It's about empowering your workforce to use it to its full potential. That's where Altech Consulting steps in. At Altech, we specialize in end-to-end S/4HANA training tailored specifically for your company. Our training goes beyond the basics, equipping your team with the knowledge and confidence to drive real results. From hands-on user training to strategic change management, we ensure your organization transitions seamlessly, aligning technology with your business goals. Because when your team thrives, so does your business. Don't wait until the deadline to lead your organization into the future. Partner with Altech Consulting today and make your S/4HANA transformation a success. Your future is calling. Let's answer it together.
I mean, you know what? It just comes with the territory. So I'm not really shocked. But at the end of the day, what we're going to do is show our light, man. We're going to let our experience shine through. We have a total of 3 decades of experience. We've been to multiple customers across several industries, helping them win with SAP. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're going to continue doing so. We're people, right? we love to connect. That's why we enjoy training so much. We get to inspire, we get to motivate people from different levels in the organization we can relate with, you know, from the executives to the warehouse manager, warehouse worker to the janitor. We talk to everyone, right? So we feel like we just have a different perspective from being the end user to the subject matter expert to the consultant to now executive level. We know, we have seen it all. We've been there, done that. And, you know, who else better than us?
Right. We're right where we need to be. You know, who else better than us? And like you mentioned, we kind of have a niche offering. And when it comes to business, you know, that's business 101. You want to find your niche and you want to exploit it. And that's what we're doing. We come from, you know, that end user background, as Alfred mentioned. But this space, it's a small space, but it's a lot of us. You understand? So, but when it comes to SAP, you don't really want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. You know, my approach is always, I'd rather be a knower of all, but master of one. So when it comes to what gives us the audacity to believe we can do this, I mean, our relatability is unmatched. We were those end users. We were those super users. So we can empathize with them. We know what they're going through. We know how anxiety can increase when you're going through a digital transformation, especially if you've been doing this for multiple years and now all of a sudden you're changing. You're transitioning from a legacy ERP system to SAP S4HANA. So in order to be able to relate to people that way, you had to have gone through it to get to it. I'll say that again for y'all. You've had to have gone through it to get to it. And that's us. That's Altech. We've done that. So we have the innate ability to speak to these end users, speak to these employees, speak to leadership, and not speak at them. You know, we foster a more of a family vibe when it comes to leadership and their teams, right? It's not, I'm looking down on you. I'm a consultant. I know more than you. No, it's how can I bring you up to speed? How can I make you more comfortable to where you don't feel that your career is in jeopardy or your job is in jeopardy? Hey, just enjoy the ride. I'm going to make sure that you're okay. And they know from our actions that, for one, we have their best interests at heart. So when you're able to ease that stress a little bit, you make a huge impact. And not everybody can do that. If everybody can do it, everybody would be doing it. Everybody would be succeeding at it. But that's what we do at Altech. We put that work in. We've never been strangers to hard work. As a matter of fact, we welcome it. We're going to put it on our backs and we're going to kill it at every opportunity we have. That's just where we come from. That's the cloth that we're cut from. And we will always continuously strive for the best. So, you know, that's why we belong in this space. And we're not going nowhere no time soon.
Amen to that. So as you talked about, we have a niche, platform, a niche offering at Altech Consulting. I want to speak to that a little bit, kind of piggyback off of what you said.
Most definitely. We
do what we do best. We don't try to do everything. We stick to training and change management only, right? So with a focus on exactly what we know best, that's what we're going to bring to you, to our clients, and to just the SAP community all together, right? So we want to inspire, we want to share our knowledge, our experiences, and that's going to lead us right to the next question, man. So what are you looking to accomplish by starting this podcast?
Well, man, when we came up with the idea, I was super excited about it. For one, no one was doing it. I mean, if they were, they weren't easily accessible. And if there was a podcast or a platform out there that was discussing things like this, it was going over the heads of the general public and things like that. So I saw, like we both saw, an avenue where we could inspire and motivate others, like you mentioned before, whether that's someone looking to get into the SAP space as an end user, wanting to become a consultant, whatever the case may be, but just to show that it's attainable. Show that, we're just regular guys. We just busted our butt at the end of the day. So this podcast provides us the platform to, be ourselves. It's a platform for our peers to be themselves and see us be ourselves. And also help clients gain insight, potential clients, existing clients. There are so many things that come with a digital transformation, for instance. And some clients, and it's not a shot at any corporation or anything of that nature, but you don't know what you don't know. So we have the ability to identify if you're bringing on trainers and things like that. We can vet them, we know what it takes in this space. So with this podcast, again, we want to inspire others and motivate them to succeed. We want to help these clients, whether existing or potential clients. We want to help them gain insight, and we want to provide a platform for our peers where they can tap in and hear things that they're passionate about, allows us to be ourselves and continue to fight.
Hey, I hear you, man. I agree. For me, I really want to provide a platform to showcase our thoughts as thought leaders, right, and our experiences That's what we're going to do in this podcast. We're going to lean on our experience. You'll hear us talk more and more about what we've been through, what value we bring to the clients, how we connect with people. We want to just also let this platform be a way that we can hopefully give the viewers a chance to get to know who we are. We want to connect with you all, the SAP community, continue to help grow the community, because we feel that this is going to bring new eyeballs to the market. And we want to just be able to foster those new people in the market that let them know that, hey, this is possible for you. If you have a dream to become an SAP consultant, if you want to become an end user, hey, go for it. Reach out to us. We're more than happy to talk with you, mentor you. We're all about helping others at the end of the day. So I hope this platform will bring about just a new vibe in the SAP community.
There's really not much to say after that. We just hope that by sharing our authentic stories, we provide an opportunity for the audience to connect with us personally, as well as inspire others to engage and contribute to the growth of the community that we're building. With that being said, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope today's episode gave you valuable insights into who we are and how Altech Consulting got started. As you heard, we're passionate about guiding organizations and individuals through change, making it not just manageable, but meaningful. So to all of you watching and listening, welcome aboard. Let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, stay inspired, stay empowered, and stay on track with sustained training. There are lots of conversations in the industry surrounding change management. Why do you feel change management is essential for organizations?
Well, I feel that change management is essential for organizations because it boosts employee morale.